Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is directed by James Gunn.
Into the forever and beautiful sky. We are
Hey, what's going on, everybody? MARTINO here, back again, and we are going to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which I saw back when it was in the movie theater, but that's okay. It is now out on VOD, so we're going to celebrate that release and talk about it. I've seen the film quite a few times now. I really enjoyed this movie quite a bit. I find it to be incredibly rewatchable, and that's just one of the many fantastic qualities about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. It's the final chapter of the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy, and the final chapter of this iteration of this team, which I found to be extremely compelling, and James Gunn did a lot of interesting things with that. You can tell he really cares about these characters. He poured his entire heart and soul into this movie. This is a very well shot movie, number one. Number two, it's a very funny movie, and then number three, it's a very emotional ending to the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy, and I just really admire that. This really feels like it's coming from a person, right? Like, it doesn't feel like this is made by a committee. This feels like it's coming from James Gunn, more so than the last two films. I honestly say this is my favorite Guardians of the Galaxy movie. In all honesty, the first film is a better made film, without a doubt, and I'm not going to fault anybody for liking that one the best. But Rocket Raccoon is my favorite character. For those of you who don't know, this does dive into a lot of the origins of Rocket Raccoon. In the beginning of the movie, Rocket Raccoon gets very injured, and the Guardians have to find a way to save him, and so this is a very Rocket Raccoon-centric film, and I think I might be biased in that. It's definitely the Guardians I'm going to watch the most. It's the most rewatchable one to me, if you ask me, and I also think it includes the best action sequence I've seen in the entire MCU. It has the best shot action sequence in the entire MCU. I just really love this movie. I think it has so much heart, but so much emotion and so much fun to be had. And while not all the jokes maybe land, that's kind of one of the issues, is I do think sometimes it's trying to be too funny. It's definitely a 4-quadrant film like the last two, which I think is great. Like, it definitely is kind of made for everybody, kids, adults, families alike. There's a sequence in, let's just call it a space station, that I think could have been chopped down quite a bit. I thought it went on a little bit too long. So this movie is definitely not perfect, but I don't think the movie is too long, if that makes sense. I thought the 2.5-hour runtime was warranted for the Guardians of the Galaxy. I think it makes sense. I like that it ties into the last two films extremely well. I enjoy the trend of it not relying on other MCU characters to make it as great and bombastic as it is. I really enjoyed that, because a lot of MCU films have become over reliant on other MCU characters to make them great or bombastic or whatever, and this movie just needs the Guardians of the Galaxy. It is still telling the same core story, even though it's a part of a larger universe. It's not so concerned with what's happening with the multiverse and the rest of the MCU. It's just telling the wrap up of this team of the Guardians of the Galaxy, even though this is a part of the multiverse saga. You could tell that they just let James Gunn do whatever he wanted for his final hurrah in this universe, and I really enjoyed that as well. I thought that was a really nice touch, and so excited to see it. I've been a fan of Gunn's for a long time. I think he is probably the most consistent comic book film director in terms of quality. He has delivered time and time and time again, and even though this isn't one of the better made movies per se, it is one of my personal favorites. Like I said, I'm going to rewatch this one the most. All right, guys, with that, I'm going to give Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 a must watch. It is on VOD now, so check it out when you can. Let me know what you thought of the film if you saw it. And before I get out of here, guys, please hit the like button below, subscribe to the channel, leave some feedback in the comment section, share us with your friends, and hit the bell for notifications. As you guys have noticed, we're remodeling some things. We got a new logo, new intro, and all that, and I'm very excited to move forward with this channel in a way that hopefully is a lot more consistent from here on out. So we'll see what happens, but thank you guys so much for joining, and I will talk to you guys later.